It is time to go lingering, longering at the Church of Korihor. I am hungry and losing blood sugar, so we shall sing not with me, but with somebody else. Let AI do the singing while I get a snack. That's the real logic. You guys knew that's the real logic behind the hymns, right? Yeah. This has been my jam all week this week. I know that Sally, when she sees this, this will be the thing that lightens her heart up because she loves it like I do.
As Berlin burned, they came to raid our hall. Our godless rolls were empty. Max Seaver saved us all. 500,000 godless Germans we. First they came for us, but we were already free. Freidenker, stand against the Reich. Max Sievers, crusader for our rights. Freidenker, resistor from the start. We will carry Max within our hearts. In Belgium, he hid away, truth's banner to raise, fighting Hitler with his pen. Max lived to fight again. Freidenker, stand against the Reich. Crusader for our rights. Freidenker, resistor from the start. We will carry Max within our hearts. America turned him away, a hero lost in the fray. Your name we will sing, Max Sievers, hero of the free. Freidenker, he was taken by the Reich. Max Sievers, murdered for our rights. Freidenker, free German minds. Max Sievers, you also freed mine.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about. I do love me some Freidenker. You know, I went a little over on sermon today in spite of the fact that I came up with the idea for it a little late last night. But I was talking to a partner about it. This is where we can get into more of the adult theme stuff. It's not lewd, terribly lewd, but maybe I recant on wanting to share that story. Actually, suffice it to say, your man enjoys the interactions with romantic persons. Your man enjoys the dirty talk. That's what it is. Your man Joe, he enjoys the dirty talk once in a while. And he can't do it with you guys. We're a spiritual community. We don't do that. And in completely consensual manner, encountered more than one bookworm, self-described, who enjoys role play, who had not read Regency novels and just went, "What?" I thought you liked Victorian romance stuff. And they're like, well, yeah, but, well, and you haven't read Jane Eyre? And they're like, well, when I say I like Victorian romance, what I meant was Bridgerton. They ain't gonna cut it, honey. At Call Me Mr. Darcy has left the chat and in a jaunt. With a jaunt. No way. If you're going to role play Victorian romance, do it right. Right? And that struck me off on this idea of that, some people, somehow we have come around as a society to fetishizing everything. And some people are interested in things in the fetishizing of something purely for the fetish. And it's like, okay, but you're fetishizing something you don't actually enjoy. Like, I think you could tell by just the art that I have created in this room some of my fetishes. But that's because I'm interested in these things anyway. You know what I mean? If you're only interested in something when you're horny, you're not interested in it. That's my opinion. That's my take. That's my hot take. The horniness can't be the definition. I'm not shaming it. There are things, everybody's got to have their thing. And I think it's wonderful. The diversity of it. Now they have that rule. What is the rule called? They say that like if it exists, there's porn about it. Everybody's got to have their thing. But the thing is that like something like if you're going to fetishize Victorian romance, the whole point is to fetishize it. If you don't know anything about it, then what you're really fetishizing is just like getting dressed up. But I'm not shaming it, Don't yuck your yum. You do you. But for me, that's the fun of it. I don't know. Maybe I go overboard. I found the cookies and protein shakes. And your man has to go to the grocery store, apparently. So we just linger longer. We're lingering longering. What's up, Gene? After a day where I had yet another sermon where I set myself to crying. Sorry about that. I'm not really, but excuse me. This is a very different kind of show. The lingering longering. We got a linger longer. Gene is the inventor of the linger longer. No, he isn't. There was linger longer. Mormons did linger longering first. Credit where credit is due. It was Gene's idea that we should call it that. I have in the description of the video the link to the StreamYard. If people want to join us, they are welcome to. I will go ahead and throw that in the chat too, in case people want to throw in their 2 cents. And so, yeah. I wanted to talk a little bit about some things that are happening at the Church of Korihor and things that were... Oh, really? Hi, that's interesting. Sheesh, man. That's interesting. Yeah, if I remember the story correctly, my grandfather had told his brother, had sent him a telegram basically saying, I know you're thinking about coming home. Don't. The pass has been snowed in, the pass that brings a train into town. Even though this is in the 1940s, and you can get places by car, the way, that was the way. and was to get into Lewiston, was to go by rail. And so he's like, don't bother coming back in. The pass has been snowed in and you can't get through. And oh wow, that would be hard to come home from Japan. And he and his brother came home from his mission after serving, I think, 2.5 years, something like that, and came home and was giving his homecoming. And the bishop had apparently, if I remember correctly, had said to him, you know, we were real proud of you for sticking it out in the mission field. That took real guts. That took real courage. And he's like, well, I had to. The pass was snowed in. And the bishop was like, the what? It's like, the pass into Logan was snowed in. And the bishop was like, it never snows in. What are you talking about? And Grandpa had full on lied to him to convince him to stay out in the field. He wasn't a perfect man. He had a real swearing problem. I love the guy. I didn't really know him until he was gone. He passed when I was 14, but I got to know him later, listening to his stories. And he was a hoot, man. But he had these recordings he did for my Aunt Nancy. Well, my Aunt Nancy? My Aunt Judy. My Aunt Judy. My Aunt Judy while she was on her mission, I think. Held to the yes. If there is any sacrament, is the boost. Not you. My boy David makes these. My friend David. He works for Nestle. This is the vanilla. He tried to convince me one day. He's like, if you're going to be working out, because when I bought a weight bench, right? Been getting fit. This was a little over a year ago. And I've been sticking to it more or less. I'm up to about, let's see, I'm never sure how to describe it. So I've got 90 pounds on the plates on my bench press, and then 90 pounds on the plates. And I have a 6 foot long Olympic bar. When people say the weights, I could probably Google this, but why not? You guys will be my Google today. Do you add the weight of the bar as part of it? Because as I understand it, the weight of the bar is like at least 30 pounds. I think it's actually technically like 30. I think it's actually 35 pounds. So I'm not really sure when people ask me like, what are you putting up these days? It's like, well, I got 45s. I got 5s. Oh, not 90. No, that's right. It's 100 now. Yeah. So I got 100 pounds in plates, and then I got the bar. Is it 28 pounds for an Olympic bar? Okay. So that means I'm at 128. Not too bad. Not great. But I put it up, man. I tell you what. I've been doing that weight training. I put that medal up there. Yeah, that's a good idea. I definitely couldn't move stuff for a living. My back is nowhere near in shape enough for that. But I have that, and I have my elliptical, and I have some dumbbells. I have some free weights that I've been using, the 35 pounders for like 5 years. I probably should do it more regularly and then move up to something even heavier. But the 30, is it 30 pounds or 35s? I think it's 35s. Anyways, they're working for me. As long as it's working for me, who cares? That's where I am. Not looking to necessarily bulk up. I'm just trying to keep flexible and strong enough to keep going in a world where I have to wrestle with a 10-year-old nonverbal boy who doesn't like going to therapy and won't go into a store. So yeah. I'm sorry, I'm reading comments I missed. Oh, okay. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Oh, things that are coming up in the Church of Korihor. So we had another one. I've had another couple of conversations with Joey, right? Is Joey you're my guy, Joe, my email correspondent, right? I hope you don't mind my talking about this. I've talked about it before. So we've been talking about implementing a new series of meetings for community after leaving Mormonism, using the Discord Discord server. I don't know how to make that work, and I don't know. I don't have the time or interest to figure it out. The lucky thing is that Joey here knows both those things. Both knows that and wants to know it. So I can allow him. I can delegate and allow him to know it for me and for us. And so, but I can tell you, I got a lot out of being supportive of people who are leaving the church. Once upon a time, and I have often said, if there really were, if atheism were a religion, we would have meetings like this where we would help support people who are leaving the church, whether it's the Mormon Church or the Jehovah's Witnesses or Scientology or whatever. And we would have meetings just like this where people would just go around and say what they're going through and talk about and vent out what some of what's frustrating about not having community. Ah, ooh. I think I must have the woman's bar then, because it's about. I'm sure that it's 6 feet, 6 feet long. My bar. Anyways, yeah, is my understanding is that it's at least 30 pounds. So like 130 pounds, not bad, but not not phenomenal yet. But I'm gonna get better at it. I've been only been at it. I started with the bar a year ago, and I've been going at it for a year, from the bar up to guess 130 pounds. So not bad, in my opinion. And going at a slow and steady pace, and realizing that's not going to make me, that being moving at a pace that would hurt my body and make it so that I quit is not doing it right. There is a Discord set up. We have, and I haven't toured it or previewed how we're going to, or talk to Joey about it. We still have to talk about it, but I think it's going to happen, right, Joey? I think we're going to make it happen, like this month, like in April. We're going to make this. We're going to make this thing happen. We get some ex-Mormons or other people. Probably mainly ex-Mormons. Do it by invite only. Is that general consensus of how we should do this? And just get out there and just start promoting it to people and having people tell other people around them and say, look, if you've ever wanted to know, if you've ever wanted a chance at something like this, you should come out to one of our meetings. Joey, do we have like anything public where people can get into it, like into the thing? Oh, it's a prototype, yeah. Yeah. So Discord, I have hated Discord in the past, but I know a lot of people use it. And I get, I think it's just a matter of using it that if I just get into the practice of using it, I'll probably love it. So I say if Joey's willing to manage it, then I say go for it. Take that off my hands. I've been looking for physical space. Hyde and I have been talking about some physical space that we can have in-person meetings here in Utah. But the more I talk about this, the more it seems like there is like a global need for these meetings, and the more it just seems like what we're doing is working in terms of the online meetings, right? We do sermon online, we do lingering longering online. Why don't we do community after leaving Mormonism? I mean, and what are we even going to call it? Because let's not call it calm. That's like their thing. We'll call it something else, I think. I was thinking we could call it like Mormon community or transitioning community, Mormon deconstruction community, something that sounds cool. I'm open. I'm open to suggestions. I think we, I have no passion about this apart from that it has to happen. I think we have to have something, you know, because there are a lot of people out there deconstructing. It's going to be a task to moderate. But then my experience, I think that we're probably going to have to, yeah, deconstruction junction, deconstruct. That's going to be confusing. Let's not do that. But deconstruction, Mormon deconstruction. But you can imagine these meetings starting off with like godless hymns. That'd be fun. We can make some godless hymns just for these. Oh yeah, or whatever, or not. And then we could just get people up there and say, look, you got 5 minutes to say whatever you need to get off your chest, and just have meetings with like 10 people or at a time or so, and do an hour-long meeting, and then linger longer after maybe, and it'll be like, yeah, let's make some connections, let's make some friends. And people need friends in the post-Mormon world so that they can navigate this. It can't just be, you get online and you watch some videos, you read some shit, you do some shit, and then you like get into what Mormon Stories podcast on Facebook, maybe, and that's okay. But they have to be so inclusive in those Facebook groups. I'm not complaining, but they have to be so inclusive. That's cool. That's not how you spell cream, but that's cool. But people need community. They need friends, right? Yeah. I mean, maybe that's better though, Tessa. Maybe it's cream instead of cream, because when I see cream, I think cash rules everything around me. Wu Tang, bow bow bow. Cash rules everything around. Okay, that's cool. I think that'll be good. I think that I've been a little bit focused on like on Rapture 2025, and I've been focused on the prospect of getting a building or something, right? That we could hold meetings in, and or doing like the dream of building libraries, 24-hour libraries, etc. So much so that it got me off track of some of the core of what we've been trying to do at the Church of Korihor. So here's what the newest thinking is on how we can do better at supporting our missions of shelter. We talked about that we might have people. Oh, interesting. Okay, interesting. That we might have we might have a mailbox set up where people can mail donations instead of giving money to the mission for Rapture 2025. And because we are going into the warmer months now it's less about blankets and foot warmers and hand warmers, and it's going to be more about keeping people out of the rain and out of the heat. And that's a much more difficult thing. Again, would have been a lot easier if we could have generated the kind of time and attention and donations to just start buying some of these church buildings that are for sale. But we might miss the boat on that. I don't know how quickly these Mormon churches or other churches in the community are going to sell. And if so, then we pivot. We just go to a new plan. But right now, what we can do is we can start collecting things like ponchos and distributing matches. Cigarette lighters are really in need out there. Hand sanitizer, and some of the toiletries and practicalities of living rough and or living out of their car. Again, hot months are not easier to survive than cold months, especially once you get around to like July up here in Utah, and I'm sure that's certainly the case down in New Mexico and everywhere else. So, um, but what we're finding is that it's a lot easier on people's, it's a lot more practical in most people's minds to be able um, to buy something and send it somewhere than to send money and give money to it. And I totally get that. A lot of us have, trauma around tithing and all that shit. So I'm into it, less work for me, frankly. And on the ground up here. And I ought to find somebody to lead the mission up here in Utah. So I can dedicate more of my time to some of these other big kind of high end, big picture pursuits, which I'm still working on. Still working on what that's going to look like. But I'm thinking that the publishing arm of what we're doing is going to be a really big part of financing the whole operation of the Church of Korihor, rather than asking people to donate of their earnings. I would ask people to support us in buying and downloading the books of the church and leaving them positive reviews and promoting them, and helping us to get the word out about that. The only challenge being, of course, that we don't have any. We don't have any books, but I'm working on All My Prophets Paint. I also am thinking I'm probably going to soon try to, as soon as I have like at least the first draft completely done on All My Prophets Paint, I am going to update the Korihor argument and just make that into a product of the Heralds. And then, but I do think that there are going to be more people interested in the Korihor argument if it's in audiobook form. It does seem like that is the more popular thing. And so I'm thinking that I'm going to condense down the Korihor argument, because now, after living with it for over a decade, I do think it is too long. Condense it down a little bit, make it a little more pointed, and come out with a second edition that is more to the point, less rambly. And I think that the Korihor argument could be something that we could deliver we could deliver faster than All My Prophets Paint, and we can get that out there. The promotion strategy is really where my gifts are going to shine more than my writing or my speaking. The thing that's going to help, I think, is going to be the fact that I know YouTube and Google advertising, and that I can do these podcast appearances and channel appearances. And I think that part of what we could do, and maybe media appearances, I'm hoping that to be able to at least do 1 month of media appearances once we release All My Prophets Paint, and hire a publicist that will go out and promote us to media channels, possibly get us onto some local and or national, what do you call them, like news programs, news broadcasts, and see if we can generate some attention that way. Maybe organize a book tour. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what's practical to come up with. And I've been looking into publicists for that purpose. But as we start to raise, as we create these products that are products of the heraldry fund at the Church of Korihor, that means that as I go out and promote these things, these books and audiobooks, the royalties from those will go to the church, to the heraldry budget, so that we can support the heralds in doing our work and going out there and dedicating our time full time to this. So without having to ask people for tithing. Of course, in order to get to that point in and of itself, we're going to ask people to give what they can um, to donate to the heraldry fund. But you know, that will come over time. I'm not terribly concerned about that. But I do think that in the future, though, it would be good for us to be able to have, like, instead of just a mailbox. I mean, we could start with a mailbox for now and just see how it goes, uh, and see if there's even need for more. But I do think that we are very quickly going to end up needing something more like a warehouse or something, you know, some kind of space where we can not only receive shipments but also store large quantities of items, because of course we'll get people who will donate winter items during the months that are not winter months, things like that. Yeah, that's right. You Hyde, you get on that, buddy. We do. I mean, look, yes, we could solve a lot of our problems if we start marketing our material, our movement to people with wealth. Um, but I'm not. I don't know. I'm not particularly interested in that. Maybe that's a mistake, but I'm not particularly interested in getting millionaires or billionaires involved in what we're doing unless they're just naturally interested and as naturally obsessed with our movement as we are. Because at the end of the day, I mean, the less of our marketing and decision making goes into what will rich people think about this, the better. I mean, we just, we've seen that. We've seen what that gets us, right? I mean, the LDS Church is a good example. Frankly, all churches are an example. All churches except for ours. So yeah, but yeah, so those are the things I've been thinking about lately. We got to get the book publishing side of the work going. We got to get a mailbox, and we got to get this Discord server up and running, and figuring out quickly if that's going to be a thing, if that's how we're going to do this, and then we can start working on some of these projects. Once we get we get Rapture 2025 work, once we get Rapture back up to speed on working on, our work with the unsheltered in the warmer months, one thing that I would like to see us do is blending into that some of what we've been talking about with the what am I thinking of? Oh, with Pride events. As we get closer and closer to Pride Month, I would like there to be some. I think that there's some definite advantage and purposeful synergy with using whatever we're doing going into Pride Month, Pride events, to gather materials and to do events supporting the unsheltered community. A lot of the LGBTQIA plus, a lot of the queer community are unsheltered or have been unsheltered, and it's a real crisis. And so it's a I think that could be potentially a very healing way for people to engage in the work, to join together and to say, let's hold events where we make these, where we feed people, particularly, ideally in an air conditioned environment, someplace where we can get people out of the heat for a few hours. But also, I think before it gets terribly hot here in Utah, we could do it here. We could do it at parks and definitely get away with, being able to serve a much larger group at a time with a lot less cost. Just, get some ribs, get some burgers, get some whatever, get some, have a cookout basically, and invite people, invite people to come out and serve, and to serve in our community, enjoy a good time, and bring your kids out, have a we could have a family friendly cookout event that could be a lot of fun, and it would be a great way to get the word out about the Church of Korihor. At the same time, it'd be a great opportunity to stand on our principles and support the unsheltered community. And I think that it would also be a great way for us to shine the light on our our luminaries as they come up and as they start to be ordained, particularly those that are women and those who are in the queer community. And that will help us to, again, not only live by our principles and stand on the values of Korohorism, but also to have opportunities for the news media to see, there, in case people are feeling out there, because there's a feeling I feel. I don't know how many of you saw LDS discussions last night, but it was pretty interesting. Was it last night? I think, where they talked about that guy, shoot, Mormon apologist and creator guy. I forget the guy's name. Was it Jonathan something? Apparently, he had basically made this video talking about how it was a betrayal of the values of Mormonism to suggest that that the role of women in the church should change in the future. Jared Halverson. It was Friday night. But I just watched it last night, and I did watch it, and they had LDS discussions. It was RFM and Bill Reel had Julie Hanks and Britt Hartley on, and they were talking about this, and I was poor Julie Hanks. I don't know any of her intimate thoughts about these things that you guys don't know. I mean, I don't know her better than most people, better than pretty much anybody else. I think most of you, in fact, probably know her better than I do. I watch her having to tiptoe around men's feelings in the Mormon church, and it's hard to say. Yeah. And that it's hard to say what she really thinks, because she's just not free to say what she thinks. I think that's a lot of things in one sentence, I think. And I was watching this and thinking, does anybody know or care that the Church of Korihor, we ordain women, and we love to ordain women? We don't only ordain women. It's just that people don't know. People don't know. And maybe the fact that we're a godless church makes it, more difficult for some people. So, yeah, we don't want those people. But I do feel like we need to get that messaging out there. And it would be a lot simpler, I think, to do as we get more and more women in the visible in the public eye. And that, I think, should probably incorporate some element of podcasting and or YouTube creationship, to get to highlight the women of the Church of Korihor, so that other women will see and feel like this isn't just marketing and isn't just positioning. This is real. There's a real place in the world where women's role in society and leadership is respected, and where women are respected for the contribution that they can make, and not just in supporting leadership, but in being leadership, and in shaping where things go. So far in the Church of Korihor, I feel like we stand on that value. I mean, there are things that change because Jenny Gage says to do it differently. There are things that we have changed because Britt Hartley is not even a member of our organization, has encouraged us to change it. Beth Magnetic, the same. And then, of course, we have Jules, probably done more to help to build what Korohorism is going to look like than any person in our community, with the exception probably of myself. But I mean, these are not, we are not just playing at being a feminist organization, a church for women to lead. We're not just indicating at it, we're not just leaning towards it or thinking about it, we're doing it. And there are women in our community now who want a chance to serve. And I think we just need opportunities to get, to create opportunities for women to step up. And if this is what I know about women as a person, not, never mind my being a man, never mind my being a spiritual leader, never mind my being the founder of this organization or one of the founders. I know that if you give women opportunities to step up, they not only step up, they step up and they thrive. And all I'm saying is we need to start having some conversations about what do we do to make those opportunities happen. I can come up with some, but I would love to be able to have more people working together with me here on saying, let's go out and make opportunities through the missions of the church to allow women to see that that we don't just need their input, though we do. We don't just need their labor, though we do. We need their leadership. We need to know what we don't know. And we need those opportunities for women in this community. And as that continues to happen, as we all sit down and say to ourselves, who are the women in my life who would be interested in what we're doing here? And what would draw their interest, and where is their expertise? And as we do that, we will get better ideas than I'm going to be able to come up with between these ears. And we're going to create more opportunities. And the more of these opportunities that come up between the ears of beings who are not the people in this little room here, is the happier I'm going to be. Because I see my role as supporting other people, as supporting you, not just as people who want to be a part of, who want to enjoy the content, though I'm glad that you do, but who want to get out into your communities and do something, and want to get together with the people that you love and build something. And if you catch the vision of that and you want to start building a community, a spiritual community for godless people where you are, or even just working on your own and doing it on your own, then I need to know what I could do to support you in that. I will warn you, if it has to do only with raising money, I'm not great at that. But there are things I'm not great at. But if it's platforming somebody and their work, I'm into it. If it's formalizing an organization so that we can make those opportunities happen, and so that we can find the people who will do the fundraising and go out and raise funds for it, then we can do that. But I think a lot of the things that we can do, what I learned so far from Rapture 2025, is that we have a lot of people who are willing to help out in small ways to do big things. And we can do big things just by being able to organize it. And that's all that it takes. Organize it, inspire people to do something, and it's surprising how much you can get done. So I'm just saying, while I'm doing a lot on my side, not just it's not, this is my thing. I'm responsible for it, no one else. But I have 2 jobs, and I have 3 children with special needs. I don't like using that terms, but it is true. And then in addition to that, I'm doing this, and I got this painting thing going on. I have a tendency to overload myself with things to do, so I need help. And we don't just need women, we need men too, and we need persons non-binary. We need all kinds of people to help us to spread the good word of Korohorism. And I think it's fun and exciting. I think we're going to get a lot done here. So I don't know. I think that what we'll probably wind up doing is having a Wednesday service where we ask people to hop into the box and just talk about whether it's the comment box or whether it's hopping up into the video box, and start talking about how you would participate if you were going to do something more with the Church of Korahor. So I'm excited about that. Anyways, you guys, I better get going here because I got to make sure these kids get fed, and I still have work to do today. So I did have a great time kind of unloading some of my experience and trauma, and hopefully some inspiration on you guys this morning for sermon. I definitely did not Adderall today. It probably probably became noticeable at some point. But I try to take the weekends off as much as possible. So, but it's been a good time. I do plan on having something going just to have a service going on this Wednesday. I had said that we were going to stop doing Wednesday service, but I can't get away from it apparently. I am curious if people, and maybe we talk about this later, are interested in switching the Sunday services, Sunday sermon over to another day, and what days overall you guys would like to see broadcasts happening on. Because I know a lot of people do try to spend Sunday with family, and so maybe evenings are better for something like this. I'm totally game to switch over to doing Sunday nights or doing Saturday nights or Friday nights, something like that. Cool. So you guys, you know that I love you. I'm grateful that you all came out to sermon today, and I do plan to see you on Wednesday. I hope things are going well for you. Let's go ahead and do a closing hymn now. Let's have a little more fun here. I feel like I do more money than God every week. That's no fun to just get stuck in things. Let's do Unholy. I will see your faces on Wednesday.
Unholy, I am unholy, full of unvirtuous, rambunctious, and perverted thoughts. Unholy, I am unholy, I am a rebellious asshole. I should be locked up on the spot.